You miss 100% of the jokes you don't say.
True, true.
Ian landed a joke that he was mad that he landed on me. I had never heard this joke before, and he was saying it because he was making fun of someone that he's heard say this joke, like in a dad joke way. Like it's a dad joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like dropping off Merlin to get his stitches out. And I was like, okay, Merlin, we're going in for another surgery. And Ian goes, yeah, you're getting an addictomy.
That's funny. What? You said that ironically, Ian?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That was so funny.
Yeah, it was just the dumbest. I don't know. It felt so like. I mean, I've heard it a number of times, so to me, it wasn't like fresh or new or anything.
Ian, usually dad
and it wasn't even like a good context for it. I felt like I was like,
like dad jokes
didn't make
usually
any
don't
sense at all.
They don't. Dad jokes don't work on me, so that one really did, and I really liked it. And
Nice.
Ian, like when I looked over, when I was like done, kind of crying from laughing. Ian's face was so displeased. Like, he was mad that it landed that hard. But I was never heard of that one.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I think the reason why I found it so funny was because I'm just, like, thinking about somebody's, like, really transphobic father. Just,
Saying
like,
that,
saying that. And, like, it just being so unserious that I don't know why. It just seemed very...
Yeah. I think the reason I didn't like you responding so... jovial to it is that I didn't come up with it, so I was just like, here's some bullshit. I'm gonna say something that sucks.
And you wanted me to like be annoyed?
Not necessarily. It's just like it was a little too funny.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Yeah.
There's like, I always tell Ian, like, you just said the funniest thing of like the month.
Yeah.
And that for him was the funniest thing of the month.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I would be frustrated with that if I had thrown up like jokes that whole day that were not landing, and then that one landed. So I was going to ask Ian, I was like, what are some other jokes that weren't landing that you were frustrated, that made it even more frustrating for you? But you're saying it was just because you didn't come up with it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't usually I probably should start trying to make an effort to make Anissa laugh.
You do make me laugh all the time.
Yeah, but I don't really try, though.
I know, but that's
I guess
your
that is
comedy, period.
I mean, sure, but like, if I want to increase the amount of, you know, laughs, I necessarily have to try a little bit more.
Yeah.
I can't just be more nonchalant and be like, yep, the laughs will come.
You are a very funny, like accidentally funny person.
Yeah.
Just when you're uncaring, you're like the Beck of like comedy.
Like the singer, two tambourines and a bachelor pad.
It's
where
like,
it's at.
When Beck like stopped trying, like when he stops trying, that's when he like makes his like bangers.
Interesting.
That's like you.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about that? Like, you remember that video you made where, like, I think you and Anissa went out into the forest or something?
Pokemon Go?
No, this was, like, kind of relatively recent. It was, like, a couple years ago, I think. Or maybe even less. Like, I think it might have been for your second channel. You went out looking for squirrels or something? Do you know what I'm talking about in that video?
Yeah, I think it was probably when we went to Elk Island. Was there, like, bison and stuff? Yeah. That's when we went to Elk Island at like 5 a.m. to see if we could find flying squirrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think you, Ian, were demonstrating exactly what we're talking about in that video, where like you were not really making jokes, but you were being funny.
Yeah.
I don't really see that in your videos, though. It seems like your videos are very like constructed.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the only videos I've seen from you where it demonstrated like what you are actually like in real life.
That's true.
I mean, I watch a video like that though, and I'm like, that shit's annoying.
No.
This guy, I'm editing, and I'm like, this guy's annoying. I'm like,
Jesus,
how the
what the hell?
fuck do I like reduce the amount of annoyance and the amount of like fucking, I don't know.
That's crazy
the
to
talking
me.
and the
That you, because I really, I don't know, when you're having fun. I mean, everybody, it's probably such annoying shit to hear. I'm sorry. I feel like everybody probably, when you're having fun, that's when you make the best stuff.
True.
Yeah. Whoa. Crazy concept.
But I really enjoyed. I have a very fond memory of us going to Elk Island. That wasn't the time that Fiona busted out of our house, though. For some reason, I've kind of lumped them together.
Oh, true.
Fiona busted out of our house
When
when
we
we
went to the lake. Yeah. Yeah.
So I can say this now because we don't live there anymore, but when we were living in Edmonton, I lived in Mill Woods, and I really like Mill Woods because it's a lot of like first generation families that are immigrating to Canada, and it's just like very like multicultural and feels like a very like solid community. So we moved into Mill Woods, and Fiona. So we had a bay window in our Mill Woods house where I didn't know that the windows could open. But we found out when we came home from going to Seba Beach, which is like, it's probably like an hour drive out there. And we went pretty like, I don't know, midday, and we stayed out there pretty late. We came back, and the bay window, one of the windows was open, and the screen was busted out. And we very quickly realized that Fiona was no longer in the house, which was terrifying. She had broken because she gets excited when she sees things. So she I guess she was pushing on the window, and she broke the crank, and it just like went, and she like leaped out of the house.
The scene was insane because the window was cocked, fully open. The screen that was in there was like bent and busted out.
Busted out.
So it was like, oh, clearly she's not here. Clearly she's gone
here.
Because Blitz was just kind of sitting there quivering.
He was sitting in the open window, quivering, like looking at us, like, I don't know where she went. I don't know what's going on. And we pieced together, because the police came the next day. She was not chasing in a vicious way. She loves human beings. She loves all humans. But we had this Somalian family that had moved in that was clearly very afraid of dogs. And she was trying to interact with them. So she was basically like chasing them like up and down the street. Like, because there's a lot of immigrant families that they don't come from dog culture. So there's just this big Rottweiler, like fucking barely. And like Dane's interacted with Fiona, like she will lick your skin off. Like she is so social. And so apparently that was the scene. But we were freaking out because we could not find her. We had no idea where the fuck she went. We didn't even know how long she was out for.
I will also say one quick note about Fiona is she can be very timid.
Yeah.
So but like once she knows like you're not a threat or whatever, like she's so excited.
Yeah.
So there is this weird kind of like gray area where if you're kind of treating her like a question mark, like she'll feel that energy and be like, what the fuck? Like even when I'm walking around the house and I do something, like I like put my hands up here and I'm like,
she's a wary dog.
Or I like put my hood up and I just stand there like a fucking demon.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So if
Anything
you're
that's
kind
unfamiliar.
if you're kind of being cautious or she doesn't know you, there is an amount of like, you can make it worse.
Yeah. Especially like, I mean, that's like in Rottweiler DNA where it's just like this anxiety of like, this is unfamiliar. So we had no idea where the fuck she went. We were so scared, and Ian ran around the back, and lo and behold, she was in the backyard. Somebody, we still don't know who.
Somebody grabbed her and put her back there.
Put her in the backyard. We still don't know who it was.
They didn't even feel the need to like call the numbers on her collar.
No, they just put her back. That's so Canadian.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever. You fucking probably belong here. And just fucking put her back there.
Oh, that's true. Like, when you piece it together, it's like, yeah, the whole fucking front thing is cranked open. It's not like there'd be a confusion as to where she belongs.
Yeah. Like, you clearly came from this source. But that was like, sorry, I got on the topic because that time period when we were in Edmonton, living at the Mill Woods house, we went and filmed 2 different squirrel videos that I really enjoyed making, and I think you had fun doing. I really like the squirrel stuff.
Yeah, we gotta make more.
That I didn't know that you put me in the videos.
Yeah, I mean, you were there, you were present.
Yeah,
right? Like
but
you were saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for this episode, I wanted to finish my would you rather's with Dane, because we were going to be on that topic, but I forgot to actually get to the ones that I
think we did like one or two at the end.
Yeah. But I also want to look at the comments because we haven't ombudsed in a while.
Oh, that's true.
So we need to go through them. All right. So we got a comment from... This is the last episode where it was just me and Dane. No Anissa. Anissa was visiting friends in L.A., by the way. I never gave that disclaimer, but that's what happened. Ghosty Baby says, this was a fun episode. Flubber go hard AF. Finally an episode for the boys. Dudes rock. Love that. And this is a comment about the empathy torture. They say, the empathy therapy you hypothesized is literally torture. You're talking about putting someone through the same trauma they put someone through. If you're traumatizing them, even as criminals, that's unethical/criminal. Not sure that could be successful. Sweating, smiling emoji.
Sweating, smiling emoji.
And then this person says, we also talked about the movie games. So you know the classic movie games where like a shovelware game would come out every time a big movie dropped?
Yeah.
We were trying to like hypothesize why why they've disappeared.
Oh.
This person says, mobile is what killed the movie games. All of the shovelware games moved to mobile. As for good movie games that caused devs to make them as a cash grab, it's hard to say. Retro consoles, NES, NES, Super NES, had ton of movie games that used existing IPs to try to drive sales, but one of the big ones that comes to mind is actually... So one of the ones being good is GoldenEye N64.
Oh my god!
I feel like the success of GoldenEye ignited the biggest era of the movie game cash grab for the next few console generations.
Yeah, I think I feel like there was like this massive race to establish consoles at that time. So I think for me, what would make sense is like they were trying to grab as many IPs as possible to like out edge the other consoles. Like you want to buy a Game Boy because we have fucking Barbie, Swan Lake, and like blah 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 whatever. Whereas like now it's kind of established, like there you have the two tried and true. It's like the PlayStation and Xbox, and they have their own independent titles from devs. So I feel like they probably don't feel the pressure to like IP.
Well, I was gonna say like at the time movies were like kind of bigger than video games.
That's true too.
So like they were kind of trying to siphon like fans of movies into video games.
Right.
And that was like a good strategy to do that.
Yeah.
Now video games are more successful than movies, so it's just like why even try and siphon fans from a market that's doing poorly in comparison.
GoldenEye was like one of those you had to be there kind of moments.
Yeah.
You know, as I think about that, you just completely throw off my train of thought. Why? I think like after that era, like the next like period of like gaming at home or like doing even really the first person shooter thing, like multiplayer first person shooter was like Halo and all of these like I don't know, pseudo online shooters. But the first one was N64 and you had to have people around to play it.
Star Fox.
I don't remember ever playing a shooter or being as into a multiplayer game as much as GoldenEye in the like following years.
The reason why like for me GoldenEye or like N64 in general was so exciting was before you could only watch these worlds, and it felt like it was the first time that you could participate in the world in a way that was not even remotely. Like
You can be 007.
Yeah, like I could hang out with my brothers and be like, okay, you're freaking 007 and I'm freaking Pussy Boots or whatever her name is. Bad Pussy or whatever her name. What's her name?
Bad Pussy.
But Octopussy, whatever her name is. And you could like play the game like with your imagination, but this was the first time that you could be like, I'm in.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
world.
That's a good point.
Same with like Rampage was one, like you could control the Star Fox. Like just the idea that I could like fly around a little Star Fox.
No, I'm just curious what
Is
what is your memory of Star Fox? Like what maybe that's not the game you're thinking of.
You could be an eagle or you could be a fox in a little spaceship or a fighter jet, and you'd fly around.
Interesting. Is that the N64 one?
That's Star Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like you could... What would make that different from a past game, though? Because that one wasn't, like...
I don't know. I just think I really liked it.
I felt like you could only play as Star Fox in that. But maybe I'm wrong.
The eagle guy.
Could you?
I think so.
Falco?
Yeah, Falco.
Huh. Maybe if you beat the game.
No, I thought you... Hello?
I don't remember doing that.
My brain might be cooked. But anyways, the point being, like, these were just worlds that I could enter in. Sonic was another one. I loved the Sonic games growing up because I loved the Sonic anime and I wanted to play Sonic.
I guess what I'm struggling with is I'm trying to figure out what exactly you're identifying as like being different, because it sounds like you're just describing video games.
No, like these are worlds that I was watching, right? On
okay.
Or in movies. And it was the first time that same with Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. Like, it wasn't just some random shit.
No.
It was something you were familiar with.
And like the novelty of being able to step, because there used to be a time where you would watch movies and you would be like, oh, I wish I could like be a part of that.
Yeah.
And video games back then offered you a window into that.
True.
And now that novelty is kind of worn off for people, I think.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like we've gotten some of the things that we were like, man, I wish there was a Pokemon game in real life where you walked around and you caught real Pokemon.
And now we got Pokemon Go.
Yeah. And we've done that with some other things where we're like, oh, it'd be really cool if we had an RTS X-Men game. And then they delivered it or something and we were like, this shit sucks.
So I think that especially with the rise of like VR and stuff, like it's not good enough anymore to have like a Harry Potter game where you fly through hoops on your broom.
Yeah. Oh man. God. I think my least favorite, like, I don't know, I guess it would be a trope in video games, like 3D space video games, is flying through rings.
Yeah, flying through rings.
As some sort of, prove your ability in this game. The Harry Potter one, I think, was one of them. There's also a Superman one where you fly through rings as Superman.
Yeah, I think maybe even Spider-Man swinging through.
Especially with the fucking controls, dude. Like the inverted controls. Like, and when I was a kid, I didn't even think.
Oh my God, yeah. Harry Potter was inverted.
Yeah.
Too, as well.
And they didn't keep it between game IPs, so you'd get used to this one game with the inverted or non-inverted controls.
Yeah.
And then you would go to the next one, and you'd be like, what the fuck? How is this so much harder? Why is it so much harder?
Yeah, I remember that, especially as a child. It like really pissed me off.
Yeah, it's just like reversed. It's that shit sucks.
I intentionally used inverted controls for Halo.
Yeah.
Because you're a pilot.
I was one of those people who changed it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Jordan and I would theorize often during lunch in high school of like what is better and why does one make more sense, like why that should be like the standard. And I think his argument for inverted controls was picture an analog stick sticking out of the back of your character's head, and it's like for you to look up, you would need to push down. On the stick, and to look down, you need to push it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense whenever you're using the little joystick on the controller.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh yeah, that's connected to
I don't
my
see
face.
it that way at all. I'm like up, down, down.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I can't remember.
It's probably just whatever you're more used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why I used it is because I changed it at some point very early on and then just got used to it. Like it wasn't really for any specific reason.
That makes sense.
I know, actually, I think there's quite a few really high-level League of Legends players that
Invert.
They do something way weirder. In League, you move the camera with your mouse. You like bring the mouse to the screen and move it around. I know a lot of League players that actually do WASD
To move the screen.
to move their screen, which is very strange because the default settings for League is like Q, W, E, and R are your spells typically, and then you move with your mouse and click around. So I've seen some weird configurations, especially with pros. Like you look at where their hands are and what they're doing, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So
Do you know how
I could see there being a little bit of an advantage to that.
Yeah, I think there is. Wait, do you WASD for Dota?
Worse.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Well, not anymore. I've moved past this. I'm more a standard player now.
Yeah.
But the entire fucking time I played Dota or I tried other MOBAs, fingers on the arrow keys.
Oh.
Hand on the mouse. Literally no engaging with the rest of the keyboard at all.
Wait, how do you spells though?
Click.
What? You click your spells?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah. It wasn't too bad when there were fucking 4 spells on the thing.
Don't you have like active items though that you have to activate?
And I had to click those too.
Do you do that in World of Warcraft?
I did for a very long time. My entire existence in playing World of Warcraft until whenever I jumped back on it in my adult age, like I'd clicked.
For a MOBA, that's so hard for me to understand.
It was stupid. It was really stupid, but like switching and like learning the other way, like never made sense to me because I was like, why the fuck would I move the screen with my mouse when all of the interactions that I need to do on the screen are with my mouse? If I use my ability, I'm going to need to then point with the mouse on the character I'm trying to hit with the spell or whatever. Like it felt like such a waste to use your mouse to move the screen around.
That is like so hard for my brain.
And extremely inaccurate. When I'm moving the screen around with like WASD,
yeah,
it is so fast. I can keep everything in like perfect view the whole time.
Yeah.
When you're using it with the mouse, it's this awkward thing where you're like kind of jumping around like one area to the next.
So for me, I don't know if this is true for Dota, but for League, so I have the typical WASD QWER, and then I have my hand on the mouse, and my active items are on my mouse buttons.
Okay.
And when I'm in a fight, because I have high sensitivity on my screen, so it's very easy for me to move.
Yeah.
But when I'm in a fight or like I need to really just know where I'm at, I take my thumb and I put it on the space bar and hold the space bar because the space bar keeps the camera center on you. So that
Dota did that as well.
Okay, so that's how.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with not like I don't know some amount of like control in the game.
Yeah.
Like I feel so dizzy and disoriented.
Oh yeah.
Not literally dizzy, just like confused.
Yeah, you get lost. You get lost.
Get lost.
It takes a while.
And it was the same thing for WoW. What I really valued in WoW was having the WASD as like my movement or arrow keys, because it felt like I think I wanted the game to be that. I wanted there to be more of a need to be like agile and juke around people
like
and
strifing.
jump over things. Like an active game where I'm like it's not a fucking RPG basically where you're just auto attacking. Like I just want to fucking do stuff.
Yeah.
So that was I think where a lot of this like idea came from is like you can prioritize your movement as being like a little bit better or what the game actually is, which is fucking clicking spells. And I always thought it was better to do the movement, but I was wrong.
That's so crazy. I'm like trying to wrap my head because that's the one. MOBAs is the one thing that I obviously play a lot. I started playing ranked again for anybody who cares. And I've been climbing. I had a 5-game win streak.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty like cool. I started like actually paying attention to what I need to, because I played jungle. So you have to like worry about the macros of the games and like get objectives and keep up with farm. And
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that before. I was kind of being stupid. So.
Yeah. It's hard. It's extra work to be into
And
the
you gotta
meta.
you got to relearn the meta.
Pebble Blast says, instead of potions, I used to mix under the sink chemicals together so I could make my own bubble solution.
Oh my god!
So I could blow some epic bubbles, and I went to the hospital because I mixed the wrong ones together, I guess.
Do you know what can happen?
Yeah,
you die.
Yeah, but do you know how?
I assume by making a bad chemical that you inhale.
No, but do you know what happens when you inhale the bad mix?
Yeah, it blisters your fucking lungs, and you fucking croak.
You die drowning in your own pus.
Fluid. Yeah,
because the blisters show up, and then you. It's actually.
I love that Anise is like, what? Like she wants to give us the information, and like, no, but do you know the chemical process?
No,
you know what physically
I
happens?
want people to understand. Like, it is like. It's like a war crime to use.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally
you're
like
war criming yourself.
You're war criming yourself because like that.
I love how that episode. Not only were we theorizing how to torture people, and we didn't know it, but we were also war criming. We're talking about war
crimes, like committing self-war crime on your like.
That's awesome.
Crazy that can happen, and so many people like when they're trying to clean. Like I've seen so many people talk about like I needed to get a stain out of my couch and. I combined these two chemicals and like I was drowning.
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
It is. Oh, we also talked about dressing up as like a ring wraith, dressing up as like Harry Potter characters and
a ring wraith.
Yeah, and sort of make believing as children or as young adults.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
What, dressing up and make believe?
Yeah, isn't that like...
I was the queen of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I knew you were into like pretending you were a cat or believing you were a cat.
No, I was a cat. Okay. Straight up. But
she was a cat at one point in her life.
Do you want to know who?
It's like it's like the next evolution of like the trans debate is like, yeah, no, I am a cat.
No, I was a cat as a child.
You have to acknowledge that.
Yeah. I dropped, my tail fell off and I got bald and no, but do you want to know who I just constantly would cause? I don't even know if it was cosplay, but it was my character because my family, we would play a lot of like games, like where we'd role play. And we would role play Harry Potter sometimes.
Nice.
Do you want to guess? I want to see if either of you can guess. Every time, staunchly, the only character I would
Dobby
be. Oh. That's a good guess, but it's not Dobby.
Hagrid.
I wish so I like Hagrid, obviously. I don't know why. Severus Snape.
Oh, that's weird. I never would have guessed that.
I was always Severus Snape.
That's a fun impression to do, though. So
I don't know why. I think I was always like, children.
Yeah, see?
Where are you? I'd walk around the hallways like.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, this reminds me of what Dane was saying, where like the ring wraith character kind of allowed that interesting asymmetric, experience with his friends. For you, it was being Snape and walking around. I smell children.
Yeah, no, literally, I'd be like in the hallways, and I'd be like, "Where are you, Mr. Potter?"
That would be so fucking awesome to witness as a parent, like catching your kids playing a game like that and being like, "Oh my fucking god!" I mean, obviously, it's nice when you are familiar with it, but your parents like not even watching the shit or reading the books.
Yeah, no.
Would be like,
they'd be like, "What the hell is this?
Annoying."
Shit? Yeah.
What the fuck?
I honestly think like, okay, fuck Myers-Briggs. Fuck horoscopes. What character did you role play as a child for Harry Potter? That determines
that's
more about
hard
who you
because we gotta we gotta widen the scope because not everyone's gonna be a pothead.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like for our age group, that's pretty accurate. Though.
Yeah,
I don't think I role played as a specific. I wanted to be my own character.
Me neither. That's what my answer is going to be too. I just kind of wanted to be a wizard. Like I think that was the appeal. Really, is you imagine getting your own Hogwarts letter and going.
Yeah,
it was not really character driven, essentially.
Man.
As far, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I really wanted to be Severus Snape, and Natter, my little brother, was always Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can't relate to that shit.
Good.
I don't think I ever wanted to be a character in a show or a movie or whatever. I just wanted to be my like own personalized version of a person in that world or whatever.
We made up a character. We had made up characters. A character that we made up for my little brother was Jackass Joe.
In Harry Potter?
No, this was his character. We would put him in like a certain outfit, and he had to have a towel tucked in the back of his pants. And he would come down, come down the stairs, and we'd be like, Jackass Joe, Jackass Joe, and he would pull the towel out from his pants, and he would start like waving it around.
This is so stupid. I love it though.
And that was like our comedy.
Yeah.
I think it was because back then, like, when you think about like Mad TV and these other things,
that is a very Mad
it's
TV.
very
kind of
Mad
vibe.
TV. So we just made up our own like comedic character.
I like that. I mean, if you,
So
sometimes it's the funniest shit.
Jackass Joe.
But this person says, I love swinging sticks around and hearing the whoosh noise. I so relate to that.
Are you talking about the empty tubes where you make the...
Not necessarily, just a stick. Like you find a good stick in the woods and you swing it and you hear whoosh.
Man, male psychology needs to be studied, because this reminds me of you talking about wanting to kick an anthill.
No, what?
It's like the same thing. It's like...
hearing a whoosh sound? I don't think that's
just
similar.
wanting to do something for a satisfying payoff.
Well, you don't do it for that. Like the stick was always... if you're playing Lord of the Rings, that is your sword. If you're playing Harry Potter, that might be your wand or your broomstick. It's always like some sort of physical like tool. Star Wars, lightsaber, like... Those sticks were important. That was like the whole, like, that was your utility to play out the, experience. So, yeah, these sticks were important, finding a good stick.
Yeah.
It goes back into the appeal of those movie video games. I mean, like, I don't know how relatable finding a cool stick in the woods would be to a current child who has such access to, like, being a part of that world, like, in a much more visceral way.
Like finding diamonds in Minecraft is probably the new equivalent of finding.
Well, because you get a diamond sword in the game.
Yeah.
Like like that was a thing you had to find and create yourself in that game. But like, I mean, I didn't really play very many video games, let alone video games that were immersive, because I didn't think a lot of them existed when I was that age. So it's just kind of, you had to go out in the woods, and feels very boomer to say, just like back in my day, we had to go fucking find our own diamond sword in the woods. It was a stick.
In the woods.
Yeah,
just the whooshing sound, though, is, I find it, because I played sports where you had sticks, and,
right.
The faster you're throwing that nature. Shit. Yeah, like, I guess it's just maybe not but there was no piece of me that was like, I love whooshing my stick.
Yeah. Well, it can be particularly different when you have a like thin enough stick or a long enough stick, and when you swing it, it really does make an interesting noise sometimes.
Well, it makes a sound that's very similar to the movies. I mean, that was my motivation for recreating that sound. Is just like, in the movies, like they have that sound effect. Oh my god, I just made that sound effect with my fucking stick. Sweet.
Dalto says, love how y'all can span across the topics in depth. Great episode. Missed Anissa this week.
Aww.
You were missed.
Aw.
Oh, before we move on, I just wanted to make something clear. Somebody brought up that they said actually the empathy thing is torture. I know that.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
I feel like I didn't bring that up. Maybe I did bring it up I feel like I remember bringing that up at some point in the episode, but maybe they made that comment before I got to that point. But like, that is like what makes that an interesting idea for a movie. I didn't say we should do that in real life.
Yeah.
It's an ethical quandary.
Yeah, it's like, that's like what dystopian movies are about.
It also just goes back to that, like, you kind of have to assume you have to assume that we aren't like on board for it today. Like, let's enact it. It's like, this is imagination, and it's fucking out there. You can't,
Well, I just for the sake of it, science tells us that when you are abused or traumatized or go through something, you're more likely to just perpetrate, like just carry it on.
Right.
Yeah.
You become
hurt
empathetic.
people.
Yeah, and you become empathetic to your abuser, and then you understand them a little bit too much.
Right.
And then
Yeah, it could go very wrong, and I
Yeah.
think
Which would be an
exploring that would be
interesting
interesting.
movie.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be a cool movie.
Yeah.
In the same way that, like, I don't think we should hatch a Spinosaurus egg,
Right. Right.
but it would make a cool movie.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think
Very
they made
true.
a movie about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Jurassic Park is about. They hatch a Spinosaurus egg and everything goes wrong.
Yeah, it's specifically the Spinosaurus. If they would have only hatched Triceratops.
Oh, we'd be loving life.
Yeah.
They are nice.
They say, this person, Naldo Nido King, says, I remember a combo of Pokemon Emerald and a specific episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy made me obsessed with secret bases. In the episode, they had sort of a clubhouse inside of it of like a USPS mailbox. What I would do is it would snow heavy. We'd shovel the driveway, and then in the giant mound, I'd try to basically construct an igloo.
Yes.
It would really only ever get to the size that I could sit in it alone and hunched.
Yep.
But every year, for many years, I tried.
So as a Canadian, that is incredibly relatable, but I have an even crazier. So in our backyard at my parents' house in Edmonton, as it snows, because it snows for such a long time and there's so much snow, it gets like packed, like hard packed in the backyard. And we dug out a whole tunneling system through our backyard. Like the whole thing was a tunnel you could crawl through. And we had little, like, it literally looked like if you could cross section it, like there was like little hamster cubby holes that you could like go and like sit in, and it was warm. It was fun.
That's awesome.
And like we did have like the big dome that we made and then dug that out. And
It's always better when you have siblings or friends to do this shit with. Like,
yeah, doing it alone sucks.
it's so hard.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
can't.
hard.
But
I used to do all that stuff too. I mean, when we were talking about this on the last episode, I mentioned like that I would run around in my neighborhood and like have little like child wars with people.
Yep.
Like that was a big aspect of that, was having bases.
Yeah.
Like where you would meet up with your team, like to hide from the enemy or to plan your attack or whatever.
Oh, that reminds me of that cartoon.
No, that Codename Kid Next Door, is that what you're talking about? No, that's what like 100% inspired me to make little secret bases everywhere.
So cool.
But I do think it being a part of Ed, Edd and Eddy, and like I want to say that like a big reason why I wanted to be Hey Arnold. His name's not Hey Arnold, but his name's Arnold. I wanted to be Arnold from Hey Arnold is because his room was so. It was like in the attic or something. It was like
the coolest room ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like a secret base in its own right. Like
it had skylights. Like the whole top was open.
It was basically a greenhouse, I think.
Yeah. Well, not fully. I think it was just the top.
Oh, really?
And maybe the alley was exposed a little bit, but it was a beautiful room.
No, yeah, it was great. I mean, Hey Arnold was great.
Having like a secret lab also kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, you just want like a secret little area you can go where there's no your parents can't bother you, essentially. And that's like, that was such a huge part of cartoons.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I don't watch cartoons no more, but if they've been carrying on that tradition of hiding from your parents, like being a part of the characterization of like modern cartoons, I think that would prove my point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of biased because I am like a huge lover of cartoons, and I actually think that cartoons have only gotten better. I think about like Bluey. The three that I always like talk about is like Bluey, Adventure Time, and Steven Universe. All really good cartoons, and all of them kind of explore a lot of like, I think what both of you are touching on, but in a more like it focuses more on the independence and character building from within yourself.
That's so awesome.
Even if there aren't like secret bases in the same way. Like Steven Universe, like he goes off and he's with the gems. They're not his dad, because he's got a single dad.
I love the idea that that's shaping us so much that our kids are going to point at millennials and shit and be like, yeah, I mean, like, fucking no wonder the way they are the way they are, because look at their cartoons, and it was like, I watched Cow and Chicken and some red guy was bouncing around on his ass. There was like nothing to these stupid shows they were watching.
Yeah. Like if you watch Bluey, I love watching Bluey. I'm an adult. Bluey's for like little tiny children. But a lot of parents talk about how it helps them heal them, because it is for both parents and kids. And a lot of what they explore is like, I think a lot of people would benefit from watching Bluey. It's very emotionally mature, and the way that they explore things are, I don't know. I'm very jealous of kids being raised on Bluey, to be honest.
Raised on Bluey.
Raised on Bluey.
Our like generation, we got fed a lot of escapist shit.
That's true.
And to the point where like, I don't remember where I saw this being pointed out, but like, we didn't really have any protest music.
Wait.
In like,
hello?
In like the 2000s.
What? That's so not true.
No, I mean like, I'm not saying we didn't have any. I'm just saying it wasn't like as popular of a thing.
I think the only
compared
reason,
to like the 70s and stuff.
I totally disagree with that, because the only reason why I'm the way that I am is because of the music. I mean, music really, growing up like Muslim in the world that I was growing up in, I needed like some sort of media that told me that I'm like not a crazy person for not liking what was going on in, you know, the US and in the world. And I searched Tanky and like System of a Down. Massive, like Flowbox.
I'd say, yeah. I'm not saying that. Yeah, you're naming like literally the only ones though.
What do you mean but it's the same with every, like in the 70s. There's you can point out like probably the same amount. No,
I don't think so. I think that like pretty much every band from that era was like against the war in Vietnam. Like pretty openly, like they integrated it into their music.
The only ones that I can think of, and like I don't even know if I don't know enough about like the history of CCR. I know that CCR obviously sang a lot about the Vietnam War. I don't know if they ever made like a clear position in through their music. I don't know if, but I can only think of like CCR. I mean, I'm not as familiar with 70s and 60s, but I think there was a lot. Personally, for me, almost all the music I was listening to was very like anti-war, anti-establishment,
Yeah, of course. That's your experience. I think that a lot of that, like, honestly, is just a part of the rock genre. But I'm talking about like popular music, as in like pop music.
Yeah.
Like think about like pop music in like the 70s and 60s. Like that was like the Beatles, and even the Beatles were like getting in on the fucking give peace a chance shit. You know what I mean?
Though that was like pretty much only John. No, it wasn't only John. I take that back. But they kind of moved into that later on.
Yeah, after the war. I mean, they were around before the war started.
Yeah, but I mean. I don't know. I feel
my point is like there was like a lot of music, especially pop music, during the time that we were growing up, that was just like talking about like going to clubs and parties and stuff.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of escapism.
I think it was just more escapist. And I don't know exactly why that was. I think it was just kind of like after the whole like Iraq thing, like it was basically like another Vietnam, and then our reaction to it was so distanced comparatively. And I think like you saw that a lot in cartoons. That's like what I was kind of trying to make the point of, like cartoons like didn't really talk about, like you're saying like, well, people should watch Bluey because it's a little bit more mature, and Ian is saying like, oh yeah, we watched a bunch of cartoons back then where people were just like being silly. Like SpongeBob is a great example. It's like SpongeBob wasn't really about anything. It was just kind of like silliness, and a lot of cartoons were like that. It wasn't really like trying to have a plot or anything. It was just kind of like a cartoon escapist.
Yeah, we'll distract you.
I feel like
stuff now I feel like is a little bit more cognizant of like, I think we're going back to that era of like talking about things through media instead of just being
right. Like, let's not waste people's time. If we're going to at least provide escapism, let's also have it.
Yeah.
Maybe, have a message.
Yeah, I feel like though also just we're valuing development, like emotional development.
Yeah, we definitely are.
More.
Yeah.
Like we kind of have to at this point. Like I think it's like a response to the symptoms that are cropping up.
Yeah,
more
definitely.
so than anything else.
Speaking of that, someone says, I think, you know, after a long enough period of time, we got to eventually, like, evolutionarily select for the actual child genius that can just make a rocket ship or flubber or whatever. Yeah. Just like how eventually we'll have kids and dogs that can survive the hot car.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Fuck.
That's funny.
Did you hear Arizona got to like 119 degrees?
Shit.
Like yesterday?
Yesterday? Goddamn.
Yeah. 119 degrees.
All I can think about is like how I'd want to do so many science experiments if I was in Arizona yesterday.
And boil an egg on the road.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like poach eggs, maybe.
Poach an egg on the road. Scramble an egg on the road. Sunny
Doesn't
side
have to
up,
be on the
egg
road. You got to be creative and think outside the freaking road.
Put a freaking pan on the road and then roast it on the pan.
No.
It used to get like pretty not that hot, but it used to get pretty close to like to that where I used to live in California, like Northern California, like the valley. It fucking gets horrible. I
can't. That's
like literally, you could not go outside. It was dangerous to go outside. Like they would basically do weather warnings, be like, don't go outside unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah. If you're enjoying this podcast, check on out our Patreon over there, though, because it's similar in ways. However, the production value is $100 higher because we have a special light that casts a refractive sort of look on the set. Go check it out. There was this one, it might have been the one Dane saw.
Yeah.
It is so beyond fucked up. It is like the whole video, it's like a horror game.
Yeah.
Like they're filming this guy in like a Walmart. Legit.
No,
it's like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
So there's the one guy with the camera who's just like constantly on the pedophile.
Yeah.
And he's recording them from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But then there's this secondary guy who's got like a Dr. Pepper shirt on.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he like comes out of nowhere from the side and just slugs the pedophile in the head.
Oh my god.
And you're like, they don't go down. They're just like, okay, fuck, I'm getting out of here. So he starts moving through these aisles. And all of a sudden, like out of the corner of your eye, the Dr. Pepper shirt just tackles him.
Is he a peregrine falcon?
Yes,
Why is he
legit. It's crazy. And then you're like, okay, that was the last one. And then the pedophile takes a wrong turn. And then the pedophile has to turn around. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Pepper's there, like standing in the end of the aisle. I had a question.
Oh, I was going to use this as a jumping off point.
Oh, jump off.
I was just going to say this is an excellent time to jump off to say that me and Ian are considering moving back to California.
Yeah, specifically Lock Angelock.
Which is Los Angeles for those who don't speak our relationship speak. Our relationship, I was thinking about playing a game on here, trying to get Dane to guess what we're
figure out what
saying,
words.
What words mean.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. We could do that at some point.
Yeah, because we learned, we obviously have done this for a long time, but when you're in a relationship, the healthy relationship, you just start making up words that represent, you make your own language, basically.
I think they call it micro-dialects.
Yeah,
or
micro-dialects.
Something. Yeah.
So it was just kind of interesting because we thought about it and we're like, whoa, there's a lot of words.
I feel like I might be able to figure it out, kind of like how like I can kind of guess what some Latin words mean.
Yeah.
Because I've known Ian for long enough where he had his own dialect developed with Jordan.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that might be an offshoot.
Oh, I think it is an offshoot.
There are a lot of words based on that language that I could kind of make those connections.
I think it is an offshoot.
Some of them are, like pretty easy to put together.
Well,
I'll give you a really easy one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Bountain. What is a bountain?
A mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah, typically it's when you can see the mountain and it looks very like bountiful.
Yeah, it's a mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's a little bit more of like you know, if you have a really
bountiful
nice
mountain.
view of like you know, a mountain scene,
Yeah.
it really doesn't feel like it's enough to just call it a
You say,
mountain.
"Ooh, look at that mountain."
Look at that mountain.
Yeah.
Here's another easy one. Chasty.
Just saying tasty, like something's
Yeah.
good. Tastes
Tasty.
good.
Tasty chach is a tasty cake.
Yeah.
Here's a harder one. A hounchy. What's a hounchy?
Immediately my mind goes to just like you referring to like a hound dog as a hounchy. Like, look at that hounchy.
It's all dogs.
Yeah.
All dogs are hounchies.
Oh, see,
It's just
I was
another word
right.
for
I was
dog.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another word for dog.
Yeah. I just had one.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, this one I don't think Anissa has used, but I've been using it a little bit lately. Gloam.
Oh, yeah, gloam.
What is gloam?
I don't know. That's so nebulous. Doesn't sound like any other thing.
It is gum.
Yeah, gloam.
Oh.
Give me a piece of the gloam.
Yeah, he says gloam.
Oh, okay.
Give me the gloam,
gloam.
please.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of those that sometimes like or choot, like just turning
Yeah,
this.
that's more of a dialect one where it's like anything that's a C, we
C.
turn to a CH.
Yeah, choot. Especially when like
It's kind of
Merlin
like Pig Latin a little.
Yeah, like if Merlin or Fiona are being extra cute, we're like, oh, cuteness, choot.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to like stop myself because I'm talking to a normal human being, and I'll like
Yeah. Think that that's a normal
word.
Yeah, word.
But it's not.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So, cuteness.
Maybe they'll adopt it.
And then there's just some Arabic that we throw in there, like fuss.
Yeah, fuss is like pretty regular for
Yeah.
farting.
What's fuss? Oh,
Farting.
is that farting.
Yeah.
Smells like fuss in here is our favorite thing to say because nobody knows what we're saying.
Smells like a
Or
dog.
Stroll on into a busy coffee shop. Smells like fuss in here.
Or sometimes like we'll just very hurriedly be like, "Did you fuss?"
Right.
So it's a useful word.
Yeah. We also talked briefly about like difficulty in games, and I posed the question like, do you think every game should have the ability to kind of like pick your difficulty so that you could theoretically like complete the game in like, you know, what would be maybe a reasonable time for you instead of like having to fucking have the same experience as everyone else?
Yeah.
This person says, as for the difficult games thing, I personally think there should be easier options for games like Dark Souls, if only primarily because of people with disabilities. I'm not even just talking rare physical and mental disabilities in this case, although they're a consideration too. Even mild physical or mental disabilities that affect the reaction time could make it impossible to complete a game like that.
Yeah.
I have ADHD and just frankly don't have the patience to do any Souls-like because it gets incredibly boring fighting the same dude over and over
Yeah.
and getting distracted for 0.5 seconds and dying because of it. That's not to say I expect Souls-like games to be just for me, but it does mean I'm not going to play them and I won't be able to appreciate any story or world-building elements of games like that.
Yeah, I can't do Dark Souls because my brain is cooked.
Yeah, that's part of it for me. I wonder if that would legitimately be an ADHD thing for me, because
Probably.
obviously you could make that excuse if you just kind of suck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just...
Yeah.
Like, I'm not as good as Shroud. Like, that's just a
I thought you
fact.
were gonna say Shrek.
I'm not quite as talented as Shrek when it comes to wading through swamp water.
Yeah, that's true.
But, like, yeah, a lot of people aren't, and it's like, well, I wonder if you know, on a spectrum of, like, how much attention or how easily you're distracted, like, if does that contribute to a person not being able to beat a game like that? I mean, because that's exactly, like, that might be part of the reason why these fucking, what do you call them? These fucking games like Hearthstone, these ones that happen in, you know, phases, that's why they appeal so much to me, is because I do not need to be that involved.
Locked in.
Yeah, locked in.
For me, I think it's my brain damage.
Yeah.
Like I don't respond as quickly as I would like to, and then I get really frustrated. It's why I can't play first-person shooters in general. Like I can't. I'm not.
It's so amazing as well when I die in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like it feels like other people who are like, you know, either watching or, you know, participating in playing the game, they're like, they can see things that I do not pick up on at all.
Yeah, same.
In those games. Like, why didn't you fucking roll out of the way? And I'm wondering if that's maybe more of a function of like, oh, you don't have the pressure of playing it, so you're able to see more because you're just like kind of fucking disconnected.
Yeah.
Or if that's more of a brain, my brain's different.
I think because like I played Cuphead. I hated every second of it. Like I get it. Yeah. I get why people like it. I hated it for me, and I played very far into Cuphead for stream. And I think I've just learned that my brain does not operate. It doesn't pick up on the things that other people
I think I realized something because I was just reminded of Cuphead.
Yeah. And
when I was playing that, I actually really did enjoy playing it.
Oh, you did?
And I did a decent enough job.
Okay. Do you think it's the 2D?
Yeah, for me, it helped. The 2D helped a lot, but I also think my brain started accepting the fact that these games are challenging me to look at the game in a different way than I have always looked at games.
Which is to strong arm them.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you're playing fucking Jack and Daxter or some of these fucking old, like, whatever, like, they want you to go through this experience in a very, like, lukewarm kind of way, where it's just like, play the fucking game, collect shit, beat a boss that just, you need to fucking whack him on his head a few times. Like, Zelda's kind of that way sometimes as well. Where Dark Souls is just like, or all the Souls-like are challenging that idea. Like, no, you got to be locked in.
Yeah, you have to, like, hone your skills and, like, learn.
Yeah.
My brain just, unfortunately, and maybe it's, like, a lack of caring or a lack of effort, I kind of just boiled it down to, for me, it's an intelligence thing. Like, I do not have the intelligence to play those games or to enjoy in the same way that, like, some people love, when I see, like, a Dark Souls enjoyer, I'm like, oh, you're like the equivalent of somebody who reads, like, you know, 500, you know, paper about...
A 500 paper?
A 500... Sorry, my brain is so...
Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
I'm trying so hard to act normal. I'm trying so hard to act
well, no, that's okay. We can move on to something that's a little bit easier for us. Wait. Let me just go through a few different comments. Whereas Anissa, replacing the hetero couple was always expected from this woke podcast, SMH.
True.
No Anissa, skip. I was for sure a potion kid. I also consistently wanted to build fires. Very relatable.
Nice.
A lot of people are mentioning a Dune survival game coming out.
Whoa.
So that is a movie game they are working on. It seems like it's a little bit more, I don't know, love and passion put into it.
I want to
Dune
play
is definitely one of those games that I would love to play.
Wait. I want to play Dune, but I want to be the worm. I want to be the worm in Dune. Let me be the worm in Dune. Then it would be fun. I don't want to be Timothée Chalamet. I want to be the worm.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
I want to freaking swerve in the ground. And...
Yeah.
Tim Chalamet.
Swerving in the ground, eating Tim Chalamet is cool.
Eating Tim Chalamet.
Tim Shallot.
Timothy Shallot.
Yeah.
Tim Chalamet. Tim Chalamet. Tim Chalamet. Tim Chalamet.
I want to eat Zendaya and then freaking dive down into the earth and come back up. Oh.
I just saw. Did you guys see Challengers?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We saw it in theaters.
That was good.
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. That was awesome.
That was good.
Yeah. Was there anything you didn't like about Challengers?
Not enough booby.
No,
they should have done more lesbian type of shits in that picture.
I think I would have like
fucking sucking dick of another guy instead of doing that. They should have lesbians doing scissoring activities. And,
I really like your audio.
You're like reading my mind.
I really like your audio over Dane's face as he's like waiting for you to finish. It's so funny.
Okay, go ahead,
Dane. Go ahead.
Oh,
so they're scissoring with the ladies.
Yeah. So I wish she was scissoring with the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I get why you guys like that now.
Yeah.
Not like interrupting and being annoying. I think I actually get it now.
It's fun.
It kind of
It is funny.
It's
Yeah.
a little
No,
bit
I like it.
one-sided. Yeah.
Do you want?
I got
were
the
you
giggles.
asking? Were you, were you asking for like an answer?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wants an answer.
Oh, why? Well, I'll answer. Sorry. I wish that we learned more about Zendaya's character because
Yeah.
it seemed to be more focused on the dynamic between the two boys, which was interesting, and I really did like that.
Can I counter
But I
argue?
think I would have liked to learn a little bit more about like her motivations. Although I feel like I did by the end understand everybody's motivations, which was satisfying.
I feel like just like I don't know, this is my interpretation and why I kind of like that we didn't learn more about Zendaya is that I think that that's representative of how that person would actually be in real life. Like they don't even know what motivates them, let alone the people around them.
Right, she was extremely lost.
Yeah, she was extremely lost, and I kind of liked her being this like aloof character where she can't even answer those questions for herself.
Yeah.
Other than, you know, being competitive. Like that was her whole drive was like winning. Period. So I kind of like that we didn't learn more about her. It seemed realistic to me, but I get where you're coming from with it.
I think I was just mostly just interested in it. I get by the end of it, I was just like, okay, I get
The creative choice. Yeah.
but I think I was just like, she's an interesting character.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not necessarily a negative. It's just kind of like something I took away from it. It's hard to really pinpoint negative things about it. I think maybe like some of the acting could have been better. And here's the thing: is like I've never really gotten Zendaya. This was the closest I've gotten to getting Zendaya. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just don't really understand her appeal as an actress. This seemed to be the role that like got me close enough to where be like, oh, okay, I think she could be a good actress.
Yeah.
Like in a role that is good for her.
You know, it's funny. I actually agree with you. From an actress standpoint, there's just actresses that I like more than her, and I'm confused why she gets roles that I feel like could have. This one, I do agree with you. I think she fit it very, very well. But like, for example, in Dune, that was hard for me to.
Yeah, I don't really understand her and Dune at all.
Both her and Timothée Chalamet, to me, I don't really get for Dune personally. But you know, I'm also a millennial, and like they're clearly these are the Gen Z actors, so I have to accept that as well. That I'm old.
But otherwise, I think it was great. I seen a story about like athletes being motivated by sexual tension. It's not really something that comes up in sports movies ever. I like movies with that energy. Like y'all ever seen like Whiplash, for example?
Oh yeah.
Had kind of the same energy where it's just like these characters are kind of like destroying themselves in this for the sake of being good at something. And it's kind of devastating, but also kind of hypes you up.
Yeah.
In like a weird conflicting way where you're just like, I'm getting hyped, but I know I really shouldn't be.
Yeah. I'm in hell, but I'm hyped about it right now, currently.
Yeah, also not being particularly interested in, like, I feel like Whiplash and Challengers, I'm extremely uninterested in tennis and
drumming.
Like, that, like, the fact that it fucking, both of those movies kept me fucking glued to the screen is like a great indication.
Like Whiplash, there'll never be a better movie that communicates what it's like to be one of the best in a thing.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like putting the voice that's in your head out into a projection of a person in that way, and the actor that they chose for that role and just how it was written is like, to me, I don't think you can top that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I really like it.
Have you ever seen Black Swan?
No, I really want
similar.
to. Oh man.
It's kind of like Black Swan is Whiplash for girls.
Oh,
The dumbest way I can. That's the dumbest way I can pitch it.
I like that. Dark Cloud Zero says, I rewatched Flubber not that long ago, and it just doesn't hit the same as when I was a kid.
Damn, that's sad.
Yeah,
True.
I still would like to rewatch it though, just
Yeah.
to get a perspective on like what I was on as a child.
Someone says 2048, which is the game I was talking about, was a cheap knockoff of the real original title, Threes, which is very sad. It says the Threes dev got robbed of all the attention by the 2048 clone because that one was free to play and the Threes one was a couple of bucks. Yeah, that is sad.
I'd cry.
Every team.
Yeah, it seems like, man, there's a lot of people talking about the Dune game. Dune Awakening is what it's called.
Cool.
Also, Star Wars. Great example of a thing that was not going to be, or that was not known for as a game. It was a movie. And they fucking like kept trying. The IP kept growing because of the movie. But like, they got a lot of like...
Star Wars Lego.
That's something.
Yeah.
But they've been coming out with a lot. I think they have one right now that looks really fun to play.
Really?
That you're like driving around in the deserts of Naboo or whatever planet that is, and you're like a bounty hunter or some shit.
I want to race as that big obese fly with the freaking taper nose.
Same.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like Gonzo type guy.
Yeah, I liked him. He creeped me out, but
He's
in a
cool.
good way.
His name's McClunky.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Something like that.
The only Star Wars game I enjoyed was Knights of the Old Republic. I think that's pretty common, like, experience, though.
Yeah, what do you know about Elon Sleazebagano, though?
Huh?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Isn't that just a cool way of saying Elon Musk?
No. There's a character named Ellen Sleaze something, but they call him Ellen Sleazebagano in the movie, because he's a sleazebag. And somebody said that character, and I was like, this is made up. But then I looked it up, and it's a real character.
That's fucking awesome. I'm looking at comments from the two podcasts ago, and we were talking a little bit about the AI videos, and we were comparing it to psychedelics.
Oh yeah.
This person says, "I'm an expert psychonaut, and I've interpreted that as meaning that they take drugs.
Yeah, psychonaut.
And what these AI videos don't do, or don't even come close to, are the beautiful things, fractals, geometric forms, intelligent beings, and insane things I've seen while tripping on ayahuasca or LSD or any other hallucinogenic substance.
The elves.
When you consume fairies, I think is what they're called.
Oh,
that's what people refer to them
I
as.
thought they were the clock elves.
I don't know about that.
Fairies. Maybe you're right. Fairies.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
When you consume one of those, the sensation that you have is that you're looking at how things are made. The sensation is that you're looking at the fabric of reality itself from behind the curtains, even if it's just you playing tricks on you. You actually see things that somehow make sense, and the most... Yeah, so it's like playing with your... Yeah, it is playing a little bit more with your sense of reality.
It's just
so,
how you're...
obviously, if you're watching a fucking AI thing, obviously that wouldn't fucking do that for you.
Right, because you're not playing with how you're interpreting the information that's going into your brain. The cool thing that I find whenever I listen to somebody talk about psychedelics is that there's a lot of faiths, Eastern faiths and indigenous faiths that very much have the attitude that we're all made of atoms and everything is the same and we are all one and whatever. And I feel like a lot of people, when they have these psychedelic experiences, they're actually seeing that interpretation manifesting of this oh, this is all part of the same thing. And I'm just, everything's kind of showing up differently.
Yeah, this person goes on to say, the AI shit looks nothing like it. It's more similar to a datura trip. I don't know what that is, which is scary and dangerous, deliriant, and is completely different from LSD, DMT, shrooms, all of that.
Interesting.
For what it's worth, I don't think any of us, particularly me, was making the argument that it's at all anywhere like close to the experience or any
No.
of that.
You specifically said that
The visuals.
it's the visuals.
Yeah.
And you separated from the experience. I think they're just reinforcing what you were saying and giving more context to, because you said like, I wonder what the difference is, because we don't know. I actually talked to my specific. I didn't know that this was something that was offered, but I was talking to my psychiatrist about shrooms, and he was saying that MDMA, and which I didn't know MDMA. And shrooms is a treatment that you can do with a psychiatrist.
Oh, interesting.
You build a relationship of trust and empathy, and then you do it over. You do sessions.
Oh.
And he said MDMA sometimes is a better intro for people, depending. But you can also do psilocybin. And for a lot of people, there's actually a lot of benefit. He was very excited that I asked the question. He likes to share, but he was talking about how like it can be very, very beneficial for a lot of people. There's like some risks that come with it, but if you don't do it with somebody you trust, and it's not like, there's a lot of things that, if it's not dosed properly or whatever, but especially if you don't do it with somebody, because he said that you get empathy bonded with this person. So if it's someone that you can't fully trust or isn't responsible,
that would potentially disturb the process.
It can give you a really bad experience.
Interesting.
So it is something that is like, they do it.
That's neat.
Which I didn't know that you could do that in practice, but it's cool.
You know what's very similar to the experience of smoking drugs and being high is watching the visualizer on Windows Media Player.
Have you been on psychedelics, Dane?
No, but I've watched the Windows Media Player swirl.
Wait, is this a joke?
And whenever you like look at it for long enough.
Yeah, those they are pretty good. I like that maze one. Do you know the maze one? Yeah.
There's the maze one, and then there's like the electricity one. You know what I'm talking about, Anissa?
Yeah, I feel like I know what you're talking about.
The joke would have landed if you would have done this. I feel like this is like very relatable to people our age, though, because like whenever you play music on Windows Media Player, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I thought you were being serious, though. I was like,
but you remember like when you were like young, you were just like, oh, this is like doing drugs.
No, I didn't have that thought. I was just like, I was like, I wonder how this is connected to the sound waves.
This person says, I have OCD, and Anissa's reason to not do psychedelics is the exact same reason I could never do it. Intrusive thoughts are no joke.
Yeah, I'm convinced that I know that if I did do it, I would tell myself that I'm still, like, I'm stuck in it. I just know that would happen to me.
This is a funny would you rather. Would you rather have unlimited semen but no eggs?
What?
Or unlimited eggs, unlimited semen, but no semen?
Isn't that just being a woman or a...
I don't know.
It's just a bunch of words.
I wish I was a bunch of semen.
Yeah. Okay. This
in a sock.
Okay.
I'm just a semen in a sock.
Okay, then.
This person says the visuals are not the interesting part of hallucinogens. They are a part of it, but the feeling makes the experience what it is. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's like,
Yeah.
If it was just the visuals, I mean, like...
Yeah,
exactly. You have to be in a mindset to interpret them in the way that you're interpreting them.
Well, it's also just like, how do you, like, from like an art media perspective, like, you know, someone who doesn't fucking take psychedelics, it's like, what is my interpretation of psychedelics? It's like I can only grab from the bullshit I've just seen a number of times.
It's like a flashback, right? Like how they depict flashbacks in movies and media isn't how you actually have like dramatic flashbacks. I didn't know that. I had somebody ask me, a psychologist or whatever, asked me if I have flashbacks. traumatic flashbacks, and I was like, no, because I was interpreting it as you literally like that's not what happens. It's when you like zone out and you're like you feel like you're back in that
right. So more of like a deja vu kind of feeling.
It's more it's like this feeling of like you're remembering vividly kind of just the feelings that were going on at that time or like the whatever, and it can be triggered by like smells and stuff.
I like that. That makes sense.
But you can't really depict that in movies.
No, you can't.
So they do what they do. And it's the same thing with like, I'm sure psychedelics where it's like they're just trying their best to depict the feeling through visuals.
Yeah, I feel like if you're trying to depict a flashback in a movie, like you really need to be like, particularly if it's something that happened in the movie or in the TV series, like when the thing happens, you need to like design it in that moment to know that you will want to flash back to it later and basically like really evoke some strong feelings. So even when you flash back to it, all you'll have to do is have a specific like audio cue, a slight visual cue, some of these things that'll put you back in the same place. I think that would probably be the best way to like sell it.
Probably, yeah.
Be like, oh,
we're back.
I'm hurted.
You know?
Yeah, I know that. Someone says, Paul Blart, biblically accurate mall god, bringing forth the daily mall day of judgment.
Cool.
Amen.
Someone says, to know if Rob Schneider is a Bojack, but he could sure use a Todd type.
True.
I just call, when Anissa told liberals to get out, I got so mad IRL. But then I found out maximum damage gaming content is returning soon, so I cooled my jets. Nice.
Liberals, get the hell out of here.
I have some stuff to edit, but we still have to finish recording the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all.
Do Salvia with Eric? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Has Eric even done Salvia?
Well, that's his like.
Yeah, I think so.
Salvia King, isn't he?
I know, but I mean, I thought it was like more of a joke.
Yeah. No, I think he actually has.
He seems like the type.
It does. I was just, you know.
No, that's valid.
Sometimes people don't do the things that they seem.
You're so valid, Dane.
You're so valid, and I support you, and you are the moment.
You are the moment.
Okay, this is a long AI comment, but it might be interesting.
But not AI generated.
No. On the AI thing, it's always felt like the AI created images are representative of what it feels like to just look at something and glance and then recreate it in your mind, but without the nuance of the facts about the subject matter. Like, we don't spend our time counting the fingers in paintings because why would we? We know people have 5 fingers, so we spend more time looking at the face, etc., to remember more key aspects visually. We can remember all the other stuff with fact recall. It's like we are asking AI to recreate what it just saw, but it can't fucking remember how many fingers there were, etc. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, it's more like a vague memory.
What's important to us? And it's like, it is like forgetting a lot of these things that aren't as important to us.
Right. It's just focusing on the things that will make it identifiable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Looking at those pics always gives this weird sensation that it got it right somehow. Like it's visually correct in comparison, even though it has too many fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. I like the AI stuff from the perspective of like thinking about why it exists and like why it's wrong or why it's right is like kind of cool.
Yeah.
Someone says, my poor pup needs to be nutless. I wish I had done it when I had the chance and insurance. Now he has a totally curable tumor that's only killing him because it's grown so large and I can't afford the surgery since losing my job. Please, everyone, remove the nuts while you can. Yeah,
that's true. The hormones, they do talk about that. A lot of people don't like talk about the health benefits of spaying and neutering your animals, but you up the chances of like a bunch of cancers just by having those hormones circulating and those body parts still existing. Like testicular cancer just isn't something that can happen to Merlin now. I hope you figure out the surgery. I hope you get in contact with some, there's organizations that help with that. I hope you find an organization in your area, a nonprofit. There's some vets that offer nonprofit options. They partner with nonprofits. I would shop around and talk to vets because there will be somebody that can point you to a nonprofit that can maybe help you.
Yeah, that's cool. Someone left a really long comment trying to convince us that Invincible is maybe worth a watch.
I have the weakest stomach on this side of the earth.
They say, hey now, Invincible has an interesting story, parentheses, in my opinion, crying face emoji. Yes, evil Superman isn't original, but from the perspective of his not evil half-human son is at least kind of original.
Yeah, I agree. It does follow like father-son relationship. And I didn't want to say this at the time because I was like, you know, people who watch it and like it get it. But it is very healing, not healing, but I think it's cathartic for probably a lot of, especially men who grew up in shitty households with dads that they don't want to be anything like.
Interesting.
It does follow a very interesting family dynamic, and it does explore some very, especially for men, there's sexual assault that happens for the main male character, and they write and handle it very, like, it's not coming from a place of like, whoa, what if like this guy got, you know, essayed? Like
there's more to it.
There's
it's
more
like,
to it.
Yeah, meaningful. It has depth.
It's meaningful. It's well written, and I think it's actually, especially for men, probably a nice thing to
they
watch.
say lots of people struggle with identity and morality from the lens of what their parents were like.
Yep.
Especially kids who have been abused but still have love for their parents.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but it's
No, it's correct.
That's super valid.
Yeah.
You've with your long comment, even without going through the rest of it right now, I can tell that there's definitely more to it.
Yeah, I mean it's
But
important.
having watched the first and second episode, I just don't think we were ready for it.
No, it's more so for me.
Yeah.
I can't handle
violence,
gore
yeah.
and violence, even if it is like cartoon. I just I'm at my limit.
Someone also says, I didn't like the newest season of The Boys. It felt like the show had become a parody of itself,
Yeah.
which sucks because the other seasons were good in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, we agree.
We agree together.
I grew up with a dad who was not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You could even call him evil.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not Knievel,
that
though.
story, so that story is very relatable to me, and yet I am just not interested in that particular one.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I think some people either it just doesn't hit home specifically for them, or they're just not interested in exploring that dynamic.
I mean, I suppose the dynamic specifically in that show is like he looked up to his dad for so long, and then he finds out that he's not what he thought he was. And maybe that experience is relatable to people, but I never had that like progression, so it's just kind of not relevant to me.
It's also not like a total progression because it goes kind of it's like an abuse story, right? Like he doesn't just like go like, oh, my dad's an asshole, I don't want to be anything like him. You really do watch this struggle that ends in the, you know, I don't want to like, I haven't watched it, but I've read, I get really weird and I like need to read synopsis of things, but it becomes this struggle of like wanting to still be accepted and loved by his father and accepting the abuse, and like kind of going through this journey of this paradox, basically.
Sure.
And I think for a lot of people, like, you know, obviously for you, like you like look at your dad and you're like, my dad fucking sucks, and like that's
those ties were cut so early that I think it made me the kind of person where I don't have that familial loyalty or like a want for parental approval, like or like a base need for it. It just doesn't really exist in me. So it's not super relatable to me, the story of someone who experiences having like a father figure like that, and
Yeah.
then still feeling a connection. It's like it feels dumb to say, but in my situation, I would just fucking cut ties and say that guy's fucking evil. Who cares?
Yeah. I feel like the part that really hit for me, and this is kind of spoilers. I mean, this audio has been everywhere, and you can see the clip. But when the father is beating the shit out of his son, like trying to kill him, basically, and he goes, "So what? I can always make another kid. Start again." Is basically like what he says as he's like killing his son.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's something about that.
Yeah.
That is just such a deep betrayal. That I think a lot of people can like hang on to and relate.
That sounds fucking vicious.
It's vicious. There's a lot of really, I mean, it's written very well. I didn't want to die on that hill because I didn't want to be like, actually, but from what I've read, it is written very well. And I think you would enjoy, I actually think you would really enjoy watching it if we got past the, because we only watch.
I might watch on my own as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Okay. So we're basically at the end of the program, but I'm not going to let you guys off the hook. We got to do a Would You Rather.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This one was one specifically that I was making for Dane, so it might not fully apply to you, but you can stitch it together. Would you rather have a condition where your penis glows super bright, like the most powerful flashlight ever that you can buy?
Okay.
Every time you get a boner.
Okay.
Or every time you take a shit, for the time the shit is like coming out of you, like exposed to the air, it sounds like an air horn is going off.
That's great.
For me, the second one.
I know my answer.
What is it?
Oh, flashlight penis for sure.
What?
Flashlight penis, yeah.
Air horn, for sure.
Oh, damn. That's daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? So it's a boner. Is boner's not daily?
Doesn't have to be daily.
No, it's very situational. I feel like it's also very easy to prevent yourself from getting a boner.
Like,
okay, but
it's also maybe going to be embarrassing
would
when
be-
you're going through puberty and stuff.
Yeah.
But like later in life, it becomes a little bit more irrelevant.
Sex is lame, though, at that point.
It could be epic.
I don't think so. I think
I
that
mean,
would freak people
think about
out.
it. No, I mean, as long as a person was aware of it, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it was like as you got more hard, like it got brighter? So if you have a soft willy, like, or you're in between.
That's what I was imagining.
Kind of like a, well, yeah, it makes sense, right? More of a gradient.
Yeah.
I thought it was more of a, I don't know, more binary.
I still pick the air horn.
Yeah.
I want
I
people
just don't
to know.
here's the thing. I might go to the bathroom somewhere like in a public restroom or something. That's going to be crazy more embarrassing and alarming to people than
I would find it funny.
Okay, so here's a detail that might change your guys' minds.
Yeah.
The shit itself is creating the noise. Okay. So it's like this shit is screaming.
Yeah.
And if there's any amount of shit like still on your butthole or like on toilet paper or something like that.
You're making this like
Wait. That's still making a noise, but it's definitely not as loud. Like it's like the noise, how loud it is proportional to the size of the shit. So like an average shit is gonna be like an air horn, but it's like if you're just doing those little deer sort of droplets into the toilet, it's gonna be like some guy going, hey, like that loud.
That makes me even want to pick it even more.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I made it weaker. But maybe.
But also, like, it would ensure that you're never fucking like messing up your like cleanliness.
Right. Okay. So another detail. So when the poop goes into the toilet, it is going to be masked because it's going into the water. So all the noise that it's making, it will sound like there's someone like drowning.
This is crazy world building, Ian.
Water.
It feels like you're trying so hard to get me to pick the lightning boner. Like you just want me
not
to like.
Necessarily. I just want to tell you how this world behaves. Is all.
Yeah, I picked the
Yeah, but you don't even have a boner, so...
Yeah, but if I did have a boner, I wouldn't want it to light up.
Okay, so your butt cheeks glow when you're...
It's just such an easier thing to prevent.
It's the air horn. It's the air horn. I like it. I think it's kind of cool.
No. I mean, if you really started having a problem
Airplane. Think about the airplane.
That'd be funny.
No.
You might get arrested.
Arrested for what? Ripping ass?
I'm just saying, like, making a loud noise, I think, is so much less... It's easier to hide a light than it is to hide a sound.
Well, I will say, though, like, the reason I said it's, like, the brightest flashlight ever is because if you do have a proper boner, it will show through your pants.
That's
like,
what
people
I'm
will be able to see it.
Even in that situation, just get, like, some
second layer.
Get, like...
blackout
basically,
pants.
Yeah, exactly. Like, blackout curtains, or like there's definitely material like cloth
that will block
that you can
it.
purchase that will block light no matter how bright it is.
Right.
I'm sticking
Just purchase
with my
that
wardrobe.
Stick it in your pants, and then you'll be able to be completely fine.
Yeah.
If you see a hot babe or some jiggling boobies or
some
whatever gives you,
or some juggalos
whatever
with
gives
tits.
So, yeah,
Whoa.
the hot juggalos.
Hot juggalos, they exist.
Okay. You might actually come up with a procedure though for your shitting in public routine though. Like you actually might end up coming up with like a solution where you like put a bag up to your ass or something.
I simply would not shit in. I already do not shit in public.
You just simply would not.
I simply would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even in your house, I don't know. Like you have neighbors.
They can get over it.
They'd be like, "Why is there an air horn going off every night?"
I tell them I'm shitting.
They would specifically just like it would just be weird to explain visitors who are at your house like, why is there so much soundproofing in your bathroom?
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of fucking egg cartons on the wall. And...
Oh yeah, I would soundproof it, and I would use egg cartons, and I would also store my crickets in there for my lizard.
Nice.
Besides, Ian, you have to admit, with a flashlight boner, fellatio would be pretty funny looking.
Oh, that would be extremely interesting.
It would make them uglier because when it's down low, their face would light up like.
I'm saying when it's in the mouth, like the cheeks light up.
Well,
and it
also
looks like cool.
Yeah, and also, you'll be able to see the veins of the face.
Oh God!
No, but also, as you pull down your pants, it will literally have like almost like that cinematic glowing.
I'm just imagining. Imagine just sticking a
wait.
flashlight in your wife's mouth. That's funny on its own.
This is coming. Okay, so this is coming from the perspective of the man. Now pretend to be your wife in that situation, being blinded by a fucking flashlight cock, the brightest flashlight in the world.
Well, but it's cool because the sunglasses will come down and it'll say "deal with it."
No,
and
that's actually now that
covering your eyes and you'll be good.
Do you think it would be light enough? Do you think it would be okay? So this might get a little graphic, but do you think it would be bright enough to light up the inside of her?
No, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh.
Like where you see like her organs and stuff. I'm just imagining like cartoon world.
That might be fucky.
But I wonder if that's even possible.
Yeah, I'm extra not team flashlight cock because you just literally could damage someone's sight. Like that's fucked. Like that's hard to enjoy sex at that point. The brightest flashlight.
Close your eyes.
The brightest.
Close your eyes.
And every year they come out with a new brighter flashlight. It replaces your cock.
That's crazy. That's actually so fucked.
Yeah. I mean, most people who are be like, "Hey, my wife fucking closes her eyes during sex anyway."
Oh, true. Yeah.
She's usually wincing and crying.
I just put like those nightcap sleepy.
Oh yeah,
sleepy time
thingies.
Or
just
wear
your deal with it joke. I think is actually kind of relevant because I mean she would just wear sunglasses at that point, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that would be enough. A powerful flashlight, that powerful.
Oh no, welding glasses.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, they pulled that in the cartoons, like the welding.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Then you'd lose your boner because you'd be like, "What the fuck? This isn't arousing at all."
Some people have mask fetishes.
I guess, but like, imagining your loving wife just completely naked with just welding goggles on is so stupid.
I find that hot. Personally.
That is kind of cool.
I think it's attractive. Master Chief. Make a Master Chief mask with the welding,
true.
and then you can be Master Chief.
Yeah, that's making it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to
clarify. That was it?
No, well, I just want to say before we leave, the reason why I told Ian halfway through I'm trying to act normal is because I'm on new drugs legally. And my brain's...
parentheses legal.
Prescribed.
So my brain's a little cooked.
I mean, I didn't really notice it too much of a difference personally.
That's good. I think it's not too bad. But my feet are sure sweaty.
Damn. Let them puppies breathe. Let them breathe. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. I will remember to ombuds from here on out. I keep forgetting. I'm not sure why. Because we don't shut up elsewhere.
Yeah, we don't shut up. That's why.
You guys also do not shut up.
Yeah.
Like the back and forth about fucking like what was it, protest music? That shit had me snoozing.
I could tell that you were pissed at that. You didn't want us to talk about that. I get it. But
forgive us for talking on a podcast.
Yeah, forgive us, Father.
You are forgiven.
Oh, blessed. What does this mean? Is this? Oh, I think that's Baphomet.
That's 2 in the pink, I think.
Yeah. I think that's Baphomet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly not that heel.
Yeah.
He isn't doing it.
He's not doing it.
It looks like he's doing this though. Like the fucking.
Oh, live long and prosper.
Yeah. He's a Trekkie.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a slur?
No, it shouldn't be. I hope not.
A slur.
He called him a Trek head, maybe.
Oh God, that sounds so bad.
You're a Trekkie. Yeah. Careful. All right, hasta
la vista.
Baby, bye.